Hey, Cornerstone family, Jeremy here. Just wanted to share a quick encouraging thought in this season. And that thought is simply this: don't miss it. Emmanuel, God coming to be with us, really did, in fact, change everything. There's a Christmas verse that's tucked away there in the book of Galatians. Galatians 4:4-6 says this: "But when the fullness of time had come, God sent forth his Son, born of woman, born under the law, to redeem those who were under the law, so that we might receive adoption as sons. And because you are sons, God has sent the Spirit of his Son into our hearts, crying, 'Abba, Father.'" Again, that's Galatians 4:4-6. Every once in a while, I think about what it must have been like to be alive when Jesus was born, when he lived, when he died and was resurrected. Can you imagine to see God in the flesh, to walk and to talk with him in person? Would have been amazing. But so many people missed it. Those closest to him didn't immediately understand. His own earthly half-brothers, they didn't realize who he was until after Jesus went back to heaven. The Israelites as a people have been actively looking for thousands of years and waiting and watching the prophecies, hundreds of them. Yet when the king came, most of them missed it. From our side of history, we have a lens that gives us a clear 20/20 vision of things. How could they not see or understand it? It kind of reminds me of this picture that I found recently where it's easy to miss the obvious even when you're looking for it. It's kind of funny there. Easy for us to be critical of people 2,000 years ago. They were recipients of a gift, but they didn't really understand it or live in light of the truth of their new reality. But how many of us miss him today, or miss the gift that's left for us that weren't alive when Jesus was on earth? Let's look back again at that second part of the passage there in Galatians 4. "So that we might receive adoption as sons. And because you are sons, God has sent the Spirit of his Son into our hearts, crying, 'Abba, Father.'" The gift for those of us that have trusted Jesus for our salvation is one of being adopted as sons and daughters of God and receiving this amazing gift of God's Holy Spirit coming to live inside of us. So living in a time when Jesus was on earth would have indeed been incredible. But right before Jesus goes through the horrific crucifixion and subsequent resurrection, he tells his disciples that he will be leaving. His disciples are obviously sad and confused, but Jesus' leaving is going to be a good thing because he is going to send a helper, his Spirit, to be with them and ultimately us. John 14:16-18, Jesus is talking to his disciples right before he's about to go through the whole crucifixion. He says, "And I will ask the Father, and he will give you another helper to be with you forever, even the Spirit of truth, whom the world cannot receive, because it neither sees him nor knows him. You know him, for he dwells with you, and he will be in you. I will not leave you as orphans. I will come to you. Yet a little while, and the world will see me no more, but you will see me. Because I live, you also will live." And then further in verses 26-27, Jesus says, "But the Helper, the Holy Spirit, whom the Father will send in my name, he will teach you all things and bring you to remembrance all that I have said to you. Peace I leave with you. My peace I give to you. Not as the world gives do I give to you. Let not your hearts be troubled, neither let them be afraid." So while the people living in Jesus' time were able to see and experience Jesus in the flesh, we as subsequent believers are given the gift of God's Holy Spirit in our lives. And just like the disciples 2,000 years ago had the propensity to miss it, we too can easily miss out on the peace and the power and the presence of God's Spirit living within us. Numerous passages in the New Testament go on to speak in great detail about what God's power accomplishes and does in and through us through his Spirit. So this Christmas season, let's ask God to help us not miss it. The fact that Emmanuel, God coming to be with us, was not only true for the first century disciples, but also for us today as his Spirit lives in us. Be encouraged, church. I look forward to seeing you all soon.